everything that's all the things oftentimes that I think are unique or special. I don't think are unique or special, right?
Sure.
Because everybody's doing that. But people aren't, right? And I think that's tough. In my space, like I struggle with recognizing sometimes that true, hey, this is my superpower, right? And I think I found my superpower later in life. So sometimes I still don't embrace it as much as I could.
Sure.
And I think that's it's a tough spot, right? It's
yeah. So how'd you find your superpower? What does that look like? You said you found it later on in life. Was there a switch? Was there an event? Was there a...
So legit. So we did those things. It was a culture index. So I culture index everybody.
Sure.
Pay for it, and anybody that wants it, I'll basically run them through it. And do you guys do anything like that? Okay. So it's like, have you ever taken like a traits test, DISC test?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very similar to a DISC test.
Okay.
But it tells you who you are. And when you take something like that and you really analyze it, there were a couple of times that I took the culture index, and the person who had given it to me came back with like this piece of information that made it sound like I was broken a little bit. Right?
Okay.
Legit.
Okay.
Like, you can look at that and say, this is a good thing or it's a bad thing. This is a good thing or it's a bad thing. And it can be like either or can go positive or negative. If somebody's looking at that and interpreting like who you are, think about it. Somebody's looking at you as Jason Payne and going, oh, wow, you're just too well connected. Like you need to be more, right. They could take any sort of positive that you think and put out there,
sure,
and take it and turn it into a negative. And that's what this person did at the initial on-phase, right? Initial onset. And I was like, dang, like, I guess I am like that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And what that was just me going, go. I'm constantly moving. I am the visionary.
Yeah,
right?
you and I are a lot alike.
Dude, I think, and what that helped with was I was able to see in my team specifically, there is a person that compliments me very well. Not for what you'd think. What she does, though, is she's very grounded in the right now. She's super grounded in the right now.
Sure.
She can't at all think out here in the future. And I struggle with the right now, right? Like legit.
Totally.
So it's like we looked at each other one day and we're like, wait, hold on. I was like, no, think about it this way. She goes, how can you be thinking about that way out there when it's right now? And it's like, but just think about how we're going to get from here to right? That's how I think. She doesn't at all.
You do both.
Totally. So thinking how we're so different in that regard, right? Even my clients, I always tell them, well, I look at it from the 10,000 foot view. I do, because it's a completely different set of circumstances to me. It's like
right.
Money makes everything go away, right? Like in property management, just have enough money and the problems will go away essentially, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Dude. Yeah.
It's crazy. So two things you mentioned about that is Dory and I are the exact same way.
Okay.
Where I'm the visionary. I'm like, this is where we're going to go. This is what we're going to do. And she's like, I'm terrified. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, you scare the hell out of me. But she's like, we also wouldn't be able to get here and here and here if nobody saw there. Right? Because if all we are is focused on the now,
right,
then in a week we look up and we're still in the now. So where's your growth? There's no push.
Yes. There's no push.
There's no push.
There's no emphasis to get.
Execution is one thing, but who's pushing? It's just like going to the gym.
Yeah.
That's why I always tell people, I'm like, when you want to go on a weight loss journey, get a trainer, because that person will keep you accountable. They're like, you already know how to work out. You know, you don't eat hamburger and cheese and fries. You know, drink protein shakes and a lot of water.
Yeah.
Right. And don't drink alcohol and walk a lot and work out a lot.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science. But what happens when you get a trainer, that person keeps you accountable. Because let's say you do the same workout. Okay, cool. One, that trainer's going to pull you out of bed indirectly, right?
Yep.
To get you to work out every single day. It's like, oh, I missed a day. Not a problem. I worked out 3 days this week. That's good. It's better than 90% of the world anyways, right?
Totally.
And so you start justifying yourself. But you have a trainer, like, get your ass to the gym every freaking day.
Yeah.
5 days a week, whatever it is. Get here and let's go.
Yeah, it's not just maintaining.
Yes.
It's pushing forward,
and then you go
higher.
to the gym,
Yeah.
And then you go to the favorite places that you want to work out,
Okay.
or the things that feel good that don't hurt.
Yes.
Right? You don't go to the squat rack first. Nobody wakes up on Monday morning like, let's go do legs and let's go do squats. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Let's get some bench in, let's get some curls in, let's get some flow there. But those other machines, I'm just using exercise as an example because I love it. We don't want to go to those hard exercises and those hard machines because that's what's going to push us.
Yeah.
That's what's going to break our muscles to build the muscle. So we don't do that. We go to the same. Pay attention. If you watch people go to the gym, they will go to watch them on a camera. They do the exact same 4 or 5 things and they don't do anything else because they know what they need to do there. They'll get a pump, they'll feel good, but they will not break their muscle in order to grow. And so a trainer will say, hey, go get on that squat rack and do 10 reps. And we're going to go to this and this and this machine. You're like, I've never used them. I'm scared. It's going to hurt. Well, that's why you have a trainer.
Yeah, totally.
And all of a sudden you start losing weight, right? And you start building muscle. And it's not because you went to those same 4 or 5 routine ones that make you feel good that you're used to doing.
Yeah.
You go to all the other ones that you don't do, that suck, that will really break your muscle, that you really don't want to do, but you know you need to do.
Absolutely.
And that's what a trainer does in accountability.
And this is coaching. You're totally right.
Yes. Yeah. It's in the coaching, right? It's like, oh, I'm doing good. Dude, I get it all the time. Jason, you're killing it. And they, call it an ego thing. Jason, you're killing it. Jason, you're doing this. Jason, you're doing... Dude, I get that every day. You did it to me this morning. Dude, you're freaking killing it.
Yeah.
And I get it. I thank you. Give me a fist bump. Give me a hug. And then stop.
Totally.
Because the people that I hang out with and my circles that I go into...
Yeah.
Right? And you're the exact same thing. Yeah, I know you have a private mastermind that you and Stephen Harris and Stephen was on a week ago.
Ah, nice.
Cool cat.
Heck yeah, Stephen Harris.
But he's a G. But then I go to my masterminds and my groups,
Okay.
and I'm the biggest pussy in the room. I'm the least
feel you,
producing,
brother.
right? And so I'm like, oh, he did 10 million. And so everybody that I coach hasn't done 10 million. They're doing anywhere from $500,000 to 2 or 3. They want to get to 10. That's why I'm their coach. But I'm not gonna be like, oh, you did 75 million? Let me coach you to get to 100. I'm only doing 10.
Yeah.
You cannot go up. You can't. You might be able to help him a little bit here and there, but you're really not, right? Tommy Mello, 220 million. Can he learn something from me? Muy poquito, right? But then
I bet you. See,
you know what I mean?
That gets back to the whole book thing when we're talking about this, right?
Yeah.
No, he absolutely can learn something from you, right? Because it's like sometimes it's just that perspective. Somebody that's sitting way up here and doing this
20x.
Yeah. It sometimes it takes a little bit to dude, this is down and dirty, man. This is still getting after it, right? We're still in that space.
That's the thing is that I every day I have to recommit myself. I'm like, hey, where I'm at right now is not where I want to go. Our goal is to do 25 million by 2025. We're only at 10. Our goal is 15 for the year. We're only at 12 or 13. We're 2 million shy. That's how I think.
Yeah.
But then other people from the outside, they're like, dude, you did this in 4 years. Holy shit. That's insane. And I'm like, I appreciate that. And I'm very grateful that I've been able to do that.
Yeah.
With an amazing team members and growing. I have 80 employees and we're killing it. But that's where some people are like, dude, you're never content. You're never you're ungrateful. And I'm like, no, I just don't settle. I don't settle because it's what you think is success to me is not success.
Correct. Yeah.
Right?
I totally can appreciate that.
Is that crazy?
Yeah.
So, but I get, like you said, I get into the other rooms. I met another roofer, did 100 million last year in roofing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap, goals, right? And I'm like, it's very, getting in those other rooms. I was just at Andy Elliott's, Andy Elliott lives in Fountain Hills, if you know that.
No.
His office and his entire setup is in Fountain Hills.
Oh, that's cool.
Just down the street. And so I went to a 2-day thing with him, and it's just amazing to see, he did 100 million in 3 years in his coaching program. Just blowing up like crazy. And so to be able to get in those rooms, it's like he's not more special than Ed Drummond or Jason Payne. He's not.
Yeah.
He's a dude. I don't know if he lives in Oklahoma or is from Oklahoma, but he used to live in Oklahoma. But he's just a dude that wants to go and get it and wants to go get after it.
That's super cool.
Right?
Yeah, dude.
But,
I mean, that's it, right?
But the crazy part is I also know that he does not allow negative people or small thinkers into his circle, not because they're bad people, but because of where he wants to go and the mindset that those guys have aren't going to help him get to where he wants to go.
I can totally appreciate
that. Is that fair?
Yeah, 100%.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my thing. That's why I love hanging out with you.
Yeah.
And
likewise.
Stephen Harris.
Yeah.
And the Nate Dominguez, a bunch of our BNI OG people. And Jordan Adler I just talked to a couple days ago. So when it comes to personal development, what's something that you do? I love you. I'm super high energy.
Yeah.
You are too, but you have controlled high energy. I'm just psycho always.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to compliment you here. You're a very good listener.
Thank you. No, I appreciate
that.
you.
That is a skill.
Thanks.
That I've sucked at for, out of 14 years, probably 13 and a half.
Okay.
I didn't really start to listen to people. They would just start talking, and then I want to respond to them. If you say something, and then I would literally stop you mid-sentence.
Yes.
I did it to my wife all the time, and I realized I did it a lot with her.
Okay.
And then I realized, like, oh my gosh, if I'm doing it with her, I'm probably doing it with my employees, my clients, other partners, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So what is something that you do? So those that are listening, most of them are small business owners,
okay,
just like you and I.
Okay.
So I feel like you are really grounded in a routine and your mindset, because I've seen it in you for the past 5 years. We've been buddies.
Yeah.
What's something that you could share with the audience that they could implement into their lives to change their personal development and their everybody's why needs to be themselves.
Sure.
Right? Because people are going to come and go, partners are going to come and go, businesses, money are going to come and go.
It's very...
But like David Goggins says, you wake up, who's the only person in the mirror? It's just you.
Yeah.
Right? So what's something that you have mastered or you continue to do day in and day out that has helped you in your personal development?
Yeah, great question. I wish I could say that I mastered it, but I'm nowhere close to where I want to be with listening. And so I totally appreciate you saying that, because I've been making it more intentional of being a better listener, because for the longest time I wasn't at all. It was always whatever I wanted to say was going to come next, and that's kind of how I ran things till I started realizing that I was missing really good pieces that I could have gotten out of a conversation or heard about somebody to really help them. My why has shifted, right? It's gone from different places. I mean, getting into the business, I got in as a single dude way back in the day, and all I wanted was to own a bunch of real estate. And, there was a part of me that just wanted to be able to, like, take care of my mom, right? As cliche as that sounds, it's like,
totally
do it so that she doesn't have to worry. But then there's this whole point where then I got a family. And so it's constantly like progressed. Now it's at the stage where it's like, okay, I do feel like I can genuinely help people, right? Mm-hmm. And seeing other people grow does bring me joy.
Totally.
The only way that I can really serve others, though, is to really hear what they need, right? Not what I need to give them, but what they need specifically. And I think that's what has changed more so in me, is figuring out, even when we hire people, it's why I use Culture Index. I want to know, who is that person? What does that person need? What are the parameters that person needs in order to be their most authentic, real self? Getting them to that space, not really my job as much as just giving them little nuggets and tools, or at least the questions to keep them thinking the right direction, in my opinion, right?
Sure.
Because again, it's doing what I can to help. I want my legacy, right? I want to be the guy who people said, Ed helped me out. Ed was solid. Ed helped me with that, or that connection, or whatever it was, right? It was like,
totally.
I love that feeling. That's my self-servingness, right? That's me wanting for me, mm-hmm. is saying, I can help with that, right? Like, I can help you get what you need, because I feel like, not that I've gotten what I want yet, because it's a work in progress. But to me, it's the trick. Somebody had told me early on, like, when you go into a room and you're listening to a presentation or whatever, let's say it's a presentation that you've given 100 times. Oh, this is like what we were talking earlier about. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're a roofer who's doing 10 million. You're talking to a roofer who's doing 2 million. Talking to that, or property manager, right? Let's say a property mm-hmm. manager who's got $1 million business, whatever it is. And they say, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. If I'm just waiting to tell him what he needs to be doing differently, I'm not really listening for where I can help as much so. Right. And there's probably those 3 things in every lecture, in every book, in anything that I can take from. 3 things. If I'm not getting 3 things out of a conversation, right, like that I'm learning about somebody or about myself or about whatever, then I wasn't listening enough.
Right.
That's my trick, right?
That's awesome.
I just listen for the 3 things, and I just got to keep listening. And it's like, maybe it's asking questions, maybe it's whatever, but if I'm just waiting to talk, then I suck.
Oh,
dude. Then it's like, the Ed Drummond show. Oh, this is what Ed thinks. Oh, this is what Ed thinks. And it's like,
So
yeah.
So funny enough, after this, and everybody knows this, it's public. I go to counseling and therapy a lot.
Okay.
So personal and with my wife.
Yes.
Just a lot of stuff off camera. We were talking about baggage, just
Yeah.
working through a lot of shit still.
How often are you going?
I go every week.
Every week. Okay.
Every
cool.
week, once
Nice.
a week.
Like
So
it.
I either go by myself or with Heidi.
Okay.
Every week. And so what it comes down to is, I'm realizing this as I'm saying this is, so I go to therapy. Either if I'm by myself, I do like 80 or 90% of the talking.
Okay.
And if I'm with my wife, we share that 80 or 90% of the talking. And our counselor, therapist, whatever you want to call her, only talks about 10% of the hour.
Is that, how's it supposed to go? I don't know what the...
I don't know how it's supposed to go, but it works amazing.
Nice.
But what it is I really think it's just us being there,
Okay.
not being distracted by outer influences, and it's just me being my raw, authentic self and talking through my shit. A lot of times I think we're so distracted and there's so much noise that we don't spend time talking to ourselves. And so when I go and talk to her, I'm really not talking to her. I'm just talking into a room, and she just happens to be in there.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, she gives those little couple nuggets, right? Those 1 or 2, 3 things to take away. But I'm realizing out of 60 minutes, she talks for 5 or 10 minutes max. And she's like, okay, and like, how does that make you feel? And what triggered this? And why did you do that? And that was awesome. Could you do it again? Type deal. And I'm like, same thing goes for our employees.
Okay.
And for coaching. I love coaching in regards to, for our employees, I do Natalie Dawson's PPFs. So personal, professional, financial goals.
Okay, say that again.
So personal, professional, financial
goals.
Okay. 3 each.
Okay.
So there's 9 total.
Okay.
So we bring in an employee and we do it every quarter.
Okay.
So we go over your goals. Most people don't have goals.
Yes.
Most people don't. They have dreams, but then they call them, they just get washed down the drain when they take a shower every day.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this would be amazing. And then it goes down the drain, right? And because they're scared to bring it to anybody because most people will shut them down, can't do it, not going to be a thing. You're being unrealistic. It's too hard. It's too busy. It's too crazy. It's too whatever, right? So 98% of the time it gets shut down.
Okay.
But when I can connect with one of our employees and say, hey, what are your personal goals? Like one of them has to be health and fitness. Like if you don't have health and fitness goals, you can't work for me.
Okay.
Plain and simple.
So that's part of your core values then.
Yes.
Have to have
literally,
fitness in your...
I'll show it to you when we leave, but I literally have a whole thing of core values. I have a 45-minute thing you should watch and let your employees watch about us going over me and Carl, our CP3. We go over our core values. 45 minutes, all of them.
I take it.
But so one of them is, daily commitment to our PPFs. Because my goals and your goals are different goals.
Yeah.
Right? And we all have our own personal goals, right?
Okay.
Like your health and fitness, your bank account, your relationships, right? On a personal level. And then, so that's why you have 3. So whatever that is, get a debt, buy a house, whatever that looks like, right? Lose weight. One of them has to be some sort of fitness, personal development, like start reading a book, once a week or once a month.
Yeah.
A podcast. Then you have professional. So professional is in the business at Capstone or at State 48 Roofing. What are your 3 goals that you want to work on to grow in the business?
Okay.
To add value in the business, right? Oh, I want this position. I want to add this value so I can get this promotion. I want to add this value so I can get a pay raise. Or I want to help build a division or start a division. Before Afton came here, we didn't have a marketing team. Okay. I was marketing. Like, what's your marketing team look like? This guy. Yeah. And that's it, right? That's why I had to create a marketing division. And now we have, Afton has a +1 named Kiana. She now helps her do that, right? So professional goals.
Heck so somewhere, Afton's amazing, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, she's a gangster. Yeah. So it comes down to you can't have capacity issues in your business. Okay. If your employees have capacity issues, they will leave. Yes. That's what I've learned. And I 1000% agree. I worked for my uncle for 8.5 years. I could have bought in, this entire thing could have been me and my uncle's jam, but he didn't want to give up any ownership, and so I had to leave.
That makes sense. Okay, question though.
Sure.
Okay, so talk about capacity issues. Expand on that a little bit, would you?
Sure.
So capacity, talk about what capacity means to you when you said that.
Yeah, so capacity issues are, so for example, let's say you're a call setter. You're setting appointments every day, and or property management, right? At what point can that person increase their value, increase their income, and increase their job description in the business? Yeah. If they can't do those things, then they're going to be stuck with the same paycheck every single Friday. Then it feels like a corporate America type of thing, right? Here's your cubicle. Here, don't move. You know, some people, I do not believe in people making more money for staying in the same place.
Okay.
Not the same place, the same business. If you do the exact same thing year after year, are you really adding any value?
Totally. Okay, so a question though.
Sure.
Do you think that everyone that you guys hire at State 48 feels that way, and they have to feel that way in order to work at State 48? Do you think there are some people who just do like the same consistency?
Yes.
Over and over and over.
So by having that interview and talking to them, some of them just want a place to set up shop and call home.
Yeah.
They just want that. Like I know 2 or 3 employees right now, they're like, they'll probably do that exact same thing, but they will work on their health and their fitness. They'll work on their mindset, but they're not like craving to get that next promotion.
Yes.
Right. So they want to grow internally, but maybe in the business, they're not like, I want to be a CEO type deal, but they're like, dude, I'm here and I just want to master this position.
Yeah.
Right. And then I feel like over time, you should want to continue to grow if you're always growing and the business is growing. So if you're growing as a person and the business is growing, you should want to grow within the business. Some people don't, right? Which is okay, but they still have to have that growth mindset in regards to their personal life and in the business. Because if they don't, they're literally going to get left behind. And then there's resentment, there's animosity, and they're going to want to leave. But some people want to grow. Most of the time, people want to get a promotion. They want to make more money. They want to get that next level of success within the business.
Yeah.
And we as the business owners don't create that space.
Makes sense. I like that.
So for example, I have a production scheduler. Her name's Shannon. At first she was a call setter making $15-$18 an hour or something like that. Okay. And after 2 years, she was like, people that called literally asked to have Shannon schedule her roofs. Like schedule a rep to come out and look at the job. They're like, is Shannon there? And like she's one right. Yeah. And she loved it and she was so good at it. But she came to Dorian and she's like, hey, like, what's next?
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, let me tell you. Yeah. Right? And sometimes as business owners, we won't tell them what's next. They'll come and tell us. But if there's not a next, it's like, dude, that's it. How many times, like, it happens all the time, like, bro, that's a position I got for you. Here's $1 an hour raise. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. Right? And so they're like, boom. They're like, okay, I'll never make any more money. Yeah. Right? But on the flip side, you can have culture, you can have incentives that aren't necessarily a promotion. Okay. So, but when you really see like what their professional goals are and what their personal goals are, you can really help them mold themselves into your business because you want it to be a win-win.
Totally. That can be a tough position for a growing business though, because that means that like the laser focus that you've got to have as a business owner to say, hey, this is what we're aiming for. And this is that hierarchy. This is that tree that branches down from there, right? Sure. So it's like knowing each one of those key spots, knowing what success looks like for each one of those spots, KPIs or whatever you're thinking, right? Yep. It's like, so having that in place, I think that's, to have that, if that's how you guys are running it, like, dude, that's legit. We're still struggling with that. Yeah. Right? It's like, there's still that struggle.
Natalie Dawson, like, mastered that. She has a book we're actually reading as a team called Teamwork.
Okay.
She has a book. It's lights out. She goes through that whole thing. It's awesome. But that's what it comes down to. So business goals, you don't want them to just come in and be a hamster in the wheel. Nobody wants to feel that way, be treated that way. So there's culture and there's community and all that stuff. But you want to know, like, hey, where are you at and where do you want to go within the business? Yeah. Right? And so you have your personal goals, you have your professional goals, and you have your financial goals. Financial also is mostly personal, right? But like financial goals, like, hey, where are you at right now? What are you working on? Like, do you want to get at a credit card debt? You're trying to buy a car? You're trying to pay off a house? Trying to get a second property? Right? Yeah. Maybe your first rental property. And so when those are when you see those goals out of your employees, you know what gets them moving. Just like you said, I'm going to hop up on my soapbox and teach you about this. Yeah. Dude, I don't freaking give two shits, man. Yeah. I don't give two shits. But like, hey, what if I could help you instead of giving you a bonus this year? Because with that bonus, you're probably going to do something dumb, right? Or go spend it on unnecessary Christmas gifts or whatever. Yeah. But one of your financial goals said you wanted to pay off, you had $8,000 in student loans. Is that right? Yeah, cool. Well, what if I cut that in half for you for your Christmas present this year as a thank you? What? and all of a sudden, boom, you cut them a check for $4,000, or somehow you get into that account to pay that student loan off instead of just giving them cash.
Yeah.
Because they go do whatever, right?
Cash always becomes part of the pay anyway, right?
That's right. But like when there is, because people are like, oh, here's $100 towards this or $100 towards that. But when you have somebody that gifts you something that's worth $100,
yeah,
it hits different.
It does,
right?
You're
Like Taylor Victoria and the canvas, the drawings,
yes,
the murals. I've done 3 for Sean Whalen. All 3 of them are in his freaking family room.
That's amazing.
He sent me a video. Actually, his wife Sax sent me a video, and there's 3 of them, and there's a 4th one. There's a hole. There's no. I only sent 3, but there's literally one to put a 4th one. I'm like, oh, I got to do a 4th one. Ironically enough, but like that was $2,000.
Yeah.
What if I just sent Sean a card and a $2,000 check saying, hey, thanks for changing my life and help changing myself and help saving my marriage. Here's $2,000. Dude doesn't care.
Yeah.
Dude, he's got 9 figures in his bank account. Does not get 2 shits.
Yeah. Something
right?
special about gifting.
But that's
sure.
So, but when you know what makes people tick, what makes Ed Drummond get freaking jacked up in the morning, right? Where does he want to go with his family? Where does he want to go with his spouse?
Yeah.
Where is he at financially right now? Where does he want to go, right? We always think it's always money related. Well, it's not. One of our gals that's a call setter, she has been with us for a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years now, and she wanted to take her daughter to Disneyland.
Nice.
So instead of giving her cash, she wanted to go for Halloween. So I said, hey, like for the end of the year bonus type thing, whatever, that I don't, they're not guaranteed, but like, hey, we give her like $500 in like Disney cash.
Okay.
Right? And she just full on just bawling her eyes out.
Heck yeah. Because then she's got to spend it on that thing.
That thing.
Yeah,
and I knew what that thing was because I give a shit.
Yeah.
Instead of like at the end of the year, yep, here's cash. It's like, cool, man. Like that can be spent like a matter of seconds. And
I love that.
There's no value behind it.
Yeah.
Right? Like cash is cash. But when you can treat it as like a personal gift and you're gifting somebody something in lieu of cash, that's where the personal goals come in. Like, oh, I want to lose weight. Cool. Well, what if I paid for your gym membership for a year? Right? Or what if I paid your startup fee for your trainer? Or what if like one of our gals is in jiu-jitsu? I just told her, I said, hey, she wants to do an event at the end of the year. And I said, hey, whatever the fees are for the end of the year, I'm going to pay for them. She's like, no way, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And so
you're really giving, man. I remember that party that you had for your team that year.
Yeah.
And that was cool. It was cool to see.
Dude, that's the thing, man.
Yeah.
When you realize like how blessed you are and like, I don't know. I was raised that way.
Yeah.
And so I've always been like that. We actually, tonight, ironically, we're doing a $100 dinner. Have you ever heard of those?
No.
Oh.
Wait, is that the tip thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Rex started it. Sean Whalen does it, and mostly started in Utah. It's really, really big in Utah. Starting to catch some momentum down here. But I was challenged by Jimmy Rex at an event 2 weeks ago up in Salt Lake, and they said, "Hey, before the end of the year, do it." And I'm like, I'm like you. I'm a speed guy.
Yeah.
Before the end of the year, that's 100 days away. Like, I can't even see 90 days out. You're on crack.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope, before the end of the month, or at least I'll have it set before the end of the month. And sure enough, I set it up. It's tonight, and I have like 15 to 20 people going to show up. I don't know half of them, but between social media, my email, my email that I have, I just sent it out. I said, hey, we're doing a $100 dinner. It's in Gilbert. I already went and told the lady, talked to the manager, who's going to serve us. There's been 15 to 20 people there, and it's $100 a pop.
Okay.
Right. So you pay full price. You pay for a normal meal.
Yep.
Dutch. So I'm not paying for $3,000 for a meal. Everybody pays Dutch.
Yeah.
And then as your tip, it's $100 cash.
Yes.
And it's a Benjamin, not 20s.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna have 15 to 20 Benjamins.
That's dope.
And so when we're done, literally like, hey, just put your hand out to this waitress, right?
Nice.
Like,
do you know who the waitress is going into this?
I know the name. I don't know who she is.
Okay.
I told her, I said, the hardest working person that deserves it, or someone that's in a low spot.
Okay.
Like a super low spot.
Okay.
Whatever that looks like. And I told the manager, I said, you know your employees, I don't. But I was like, as long as they're working, make sure they're working tomorrow.
Nice.
And make sure they get my table. 15 to 20 people. We're going to order, have a great night, 1 to 2 hours together hanging out. Massive opportunity for collaborating and networking.
Yeah.
Because none of these people know each other. Most of them.
Super cool.
Super cool. Yeah. So, and everybody stands up and says who you are, where do you live, what do you do, and then networking. That just happens.
What industries? Just any industry?
Dude, it doesn't matter.
Cool.
Stay at home mom. I don't freaking care.
Okay.
Bring $100. You're welcome. Yeah.
Take it.
So those are the type of things that I try and do outside of the business, but also inside. We try and find out. That's where those PPFs come in.
Yeah.
I have Andy Elliott talks about he has an unrecruitable team.
Okay, yeah. So nobody.
He's like anybody that comes into his business. He's like, he even told me, he's like, I will give you $10 million if you can steal one of my employees, and he's dead serious. He's like, I will cut you a check. If you can sell one of my employees, I'll give you $10 million.
Wow.
And one of the guys is like, well, what if I promise
Split
that?
him
Yes.
$5 million.
Yeah. They're like, hey, like, leave. We get like $5 million each.
Yeah.
We'll leave.
Wow.
So that's the culture though. So by knowing, by giving a shit about them and their goals and where they want to go and what they want to do, if you can help them, just like Ziegler, right? If you help everybody else get what they want, you are gonna get what you want.
Yeah, I love that.
Right? But when you know what your employees' goals and your aspirations and things that they want to do, when you know that and you can flip it back, your business will thrive. It just will. Because now you have people that are not just going there for the paycheck. Right? How many people just show up and they just show up for that paycheck every Friday?
Right.
Right? Some people do that. The whole goal is, that's why people come and go out of businesses every 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
Because there's no loyalty there. They're literally just there for a check. They hate their job. They hate what they do. Then you find these random people like, I love my job. I love what I do. They're not making $500,000 a year. They're still making 50, 70, 80, 100 grand a year. Right? But they love what they do. They love their boss. They love their culture. They love their coworkers. It's because you create that environment where people want to come and thrive.
Yeah.
Not just make Jason and Ed a shit ton of money.
Right.
Right? Because I can do that by myself. I really could. I don't want to, and that would really jack up my personal life, but I don't want to do that. Right? It's like, but just like you said, the cool part about like consulting people, and we'll end on this. When it comes to consulting people, like I have 80 employees.
Okay.
So I help contribute 80 mortgage payments, 80 car payments, 80,
80's a lot, dude.
80's a lot.
That's legit.
80's a lot. And most of them are married, so there's a +1. And then you have anywhere from 1 to 3 kids. So you're talking, providing for 100 to 150 people.
Yeah.
Right? That's awesome. But I want to make a bigger impact. So as I continue to grow my business, that number will get bigger, but not multiplication wise.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, well, how can I multiply the impact that I want to make on people's lives? So one, organic social media, because you and I are changing people's lives. We don't even know it.
Right.
But by putting our stuff on this microphone and into that camera, we are changing people's lives as long as you put it out into the universe. And thankful for the Zuckerbergs and the Bezos of the world that help us get our message and get our product out to the world.
Yeah.
Like that book. That book's going to change millions of people's lives.
Love it,
and
dude.
help business owners.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm going to read it.
So think about it. So if I go and consult a HVAC business, I have like 5 or 6 HVAC guys.
Okay.
And they're doing $500,000 or $1 million. And I get them to 3, 5, 7, 10 million. Well, first of all, that's going to change that's generational wealth.
Yeah.
It's going to change their legacy forever. So that's not a couple of people, that's dozens and eventually hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Because it becomes that tree, right? And then the other part is, how many employees do they have? Well, they only have 2 or 3 at, 1 or 2 million.
Sure.
But get to 10 million. I don't have 5 employees doing 10 million. You got to have several employees. And this is more blue collar, right? More in the trades. But like, if they have 2 or 3 employees and now they have 25 employees, well, just do the math again, right?
Yeah.
So you have 25 and they'll have a spouse or more or less, right? So then there's 45 or 50 and they'll have 1 or 2 kids. And now you're talking, another 50 to 100 people.
Yeah.
That's only one person. Well, what if I'm coaching 30 people? That's 3,000.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Plus my, so it's not 80, it's now 3,000.
Yeah.
So now I have the opportunity to bless the lives of generational wealth of over 3,000 people. And that's only within 12 months. Right? So it's not just the 80 or the 150 that's in my own thing. That's where I think it's being selfish.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, you know what? My coaching business pays my bills.
Okay.
It helps me cover my expenses, and that's where it stops. Right? It's not. There's other guys that have FU money, and maybe we'll get that big one day. But the impact that I'm having right now with who I'm coaching, like it's changing not just their life, but they're hiring people, and then we're changing their people's lives and their families.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just this.
What's your exit look like? When you think you're going to be?
My exit?
Yeah. How long are you going to be doing this? Like, what's the jam?
So the coaching thing will be forever.
Okay.
And the events will be forever.
Easy enough. Yeah.
I love it. It's fun. I get a massive dopamine high.
Yeah.
Like I get a massive high when I bring them in. We do audits every 90 days.
Okay.
I bring them in like a bulldozer, just bulldozer business, and we build it back up. Boom, go. And every time we go, we just add a couple more blocks.
Okay.
Every 90 days. The roofing thing, I don't know. I made a dumb decision to almost sell it about a year ago, 6 months ago. And one of the worst decisions in my life I've ever made.
Really?
Yeah. Because when people come and try and offer you money to sell your business, that's when you shouldn't sell your business. Because they see the value that you don't see. When they try and wobble, true story, try and dabble a $2 million cash carrot in front of your face.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, I can do a lot of things with $2 million.
Yeah.
It's a lot of real estate, right?
Yeah, no, I feel you.
But I'm like, or multifamily, or I could buy 3 or 4 other businesses, and But the point of it is that my mission with my roofing company hasn't stopped. And the people that I'm serving know where I want to go. And until we get there, the next one's 25 million. Then we'll reassess.
Yeah.
But right now we're at 10.
So you want to get to 25.
12. 25, we'll talk about
Yeah.
it. But that's 2 years.
Dude, that's legit.
2 years.
All right, let's have this conversation again at 25 in 2 years. That'll be fun.
Let's go. All right, guys. So I forgot to do the intro. So this is Ed Drummond, Capstone Realty Professionals, does real estate, both buying and selling, but he also has a property management side. How many doors do you have?
Yeah, 630
doors.
Yeah,
awesome.
We're more on the property management side. The sales stuff was what we got started in, right? I was
sure
the agent for a long time, and then made a concerted effort a few years ago to where it's like, all right, let's really buckle down on the management. We help people with the buying and selling.
Sure.
There are already people in our network, already clients, already those that we know.
Sure.
Yeah.
So those are out of those 600 doors, not if, but when they buy or buy more,
yeah, absolutely,
or sell off, then obviously you can be that tool for them.
Yeah, so. and that's the value. Is it's the one-stop shop.
That's awesome.
We can't help, and it's talking to somebody like you, right? It's like, all right, let's figure out what your real goals are, because in real estate investing, everybody's goals are different. Everybody wants to do what their neighbor's doing, but their neighbor's doing it for a totally different reason, and they're just not telling you, right? Yeah. And that's the thing, is that's what we try to get to the bottom of and figure out. It's hard conversations in real estate. That's my job, right? I'm like the real estate flipping therapist, having ugly conversations with people in real estate. I love it. It's fun.
So this is a shameless plug. I do it because I actually do a lot of work with Ed, but I also work with probably 24 property management companies, both commercial, multifamily, and single family. And I refer all my single family stuff to Capstone. The reason why is because, like, you guys are just programmed different. And I think it starts at the top. I really do. I think it's a matter of, like, the stereotype of property management is you guys are all assholes. Yeah. And you guys are just not there for a check, because that check is not big enough for anybody in property management, right?
Right.
For the shit that you guys have to deal with. But the fact that you guys are all level-headed, you're all cool, and you guys do not make irrational decisions when it comes to your clients. Because I see the back end stuff, right? We'll go there, we'll do an analysis, we'll say, here's what you need to do, this, here's options. And it's not like you're too high, what the hell is going on? Why are you doing this? It's like, cool. We take that information and then you go give it to your clients and you educate them based off of the need of the home for whatever issue they may need, whether it's, kicking out tenants or whatever. And you help them go back. But there's I call it the give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have the give a fuck thing in your business. A lot of people don't.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Especially in property management. Like, you call them like, what do you want? And I'm like, what? And they won't say, what do you want? They'll say, hey, this is Kristen. But it's like, I almost feel like I'm a nuisance. Like I'm a plague. I'm a burden calling a property management company to try and get something fixed or try and do something. I've never felt that with you guys. Thanks. I've known Evan for as long as I've known you, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's huge. So if you have real estate in Arizona and single family stuff that you're trying to find a legit property manager that will care, that'll answer the phone, that'll take care of you. I didn't even invite Ed on for that. I'm not paying him to be on here, and vice versa. Like, Ed's just a good dude that I know. He has a great team. He has a great heart. He has a great attitude. He has an amazing wife and kiddos, and I like to be around those kind of people.
Thanks, brother.
So that's why I wanted to bring you on.
Yeah.
And so if you have any questions, let us know, both for roofing or for property management side. If not, hopefully you guys got something out of this. Welcome to the Sexy Business Status Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Payne. My man, Ed Drummond here.
What's up?
Thanks for being here, and we'll see you guys on the next one.